Hey guys, my name is Luke Birmingham, and today what we're going to be doing is looking back at one of my other art videos that I posted a few days ago. It was number 4, and I did a muscle guy. I have it right here with me. I'm going to be talking to you guys about how I drew this. Let's get into it. All right, guys. So we're going to be reviewing the pen art. So let's see how this goes. I edited it down to about 10 minutes from an hour compared to the other video was only about 2 minutes, but that's just for the time span of talking about it. So I like to start out with the hands and the shoulders, especially when I'm doing like muscly uh, anatomy art and that kind of stuff. And when you do that, you do it for the purpose of showing strength. Like the rounder and bigger it is compared to the rest of the body, the more strength it shows you have. So after that, I want to label out the chassis to get a feel for the whole body, what I'm going to be drawing for the future, the rest of the details. So basically, this is the planning stage of the art. No clear details, just little shapes to show where things are going to go as I form more detail. That's where I'm doing like the rib cage area, going down to his abdomen, just kind of like going with the flow of the body as I'm listing more and more details. I usually like to go around the art as I'm going throughout the details and trying to finish up the piece. I don't really like focusing on one spot the entire time because then it's like if I do that whole spot, like let's say the head the entire time, usually I don't get the rest of the body in that much detail compared to the one spot. So go around it, but not everyone's like that. Now I'm starting to get to the point where I'm etching out more of the body. I wanted to change it where the hand placements were, show like kind of like the Rock when he does the that stance. I felt it was more fitting. Obviously, I wanted to get him pretty big shoulders because, again, strength. Now I'm focusing around the neck area here, and they had to give the Adam's apple, make that very distinct because it's an up angle. Now I'm focusing on the hips and belly. Now, I didn't really show the legs here, but I felt it was necessary to show like the position, the perspective of the up angle. Now I'm giving him that 8 pack. You know how it is. Gotta show that strength, anime style. His hands are kind of like from this it looks like this to you. Um, to show an up angle, everything is a little different from the perspective. It's like you're looking at like me. I didn't really care about giving him a face for this one, just for the sake. My hand was already getting carpal tunnel, so it was okay without it. I'm still learning as I go through all this art stuff, but one good tip I want to give to you when you do like try to be realistic kind of art, definitely get anatomy books and look at how other artists do it because every artist does it a different way with how they form the body, how they form the faces, how they draw it. For me, I'm very circular and I am a little wild with this one when I did the pen art, not caring as much about the realism, but to get the point across where I'm like right now where I'm darkening the lines to show the form where things have like a hard edge. So for example, like the collarbone, I'll give it some because a shadow can reflect off of it. If it's an up angle and you're like the light source, you're not gonna do the dark points at the parts where where the light will bounce off of it because it's like it's playing with shadows pretty much. Yep. Now I'm just doing it all around where any dark line where there's a point where there's an object in front of it. So for example, the wrist and the hand here. That's where I'm going to put a shadow on the biceps and the chest, the shoulders, and the collar. Same thing with the back of the head. And well, I don't know what I did with the hand honestly. But it's the same idea with the hand. You can see I'm doing it darker on the knuckles and the wrist here as I'm jabbing away, like tearing through the paper. The paper started tearing at those kind of points. You definitely want to get thicker paper for pen art and marker art because it might mess you up. Like for me, it didn't really hear because I've been in practice with it, but for beginner stuff, you want to get thicker paper. Now I'm starting to add like the shading and hatching lines to show more depth and form. Can't really see it here, but I'm basically giving him dark pants because we don't want naughty. Yep, it takes a bit because it's dark pants. So and with pen, it's not exactly the most non-carpal tunnel thing. Yeah, I started to shift on the camera a little bit because I kept hitting it as I'm trying to like shake my way through it. Yep. Like I said about going back to circle around, going from top to bottom or bottom to top, focus on different areas. So not only so I can keep focus on the details and be consistent, but also so I don't get bored just doing the one thing. It's okay if you don't have to complete one piece in one go. You can take your time on different sections that all makes up the same body. Yep, there's the camera again. Now I'm starting to add because he's flexing, showing like the circular parts of the body, like the biceps, the shoulders, the wrist, all of it flexing. That's where most of the blood gets, pressure, red, like you start squeezing everything. So, and I know it's not working with red, but you make things look darker if it shows more blood. That you can do that too for when you're doing pen art of the human body. Also, because again, it's further away from the light or from the. It's a shadow cast. And now I'm just giving a little bit of details to the face. I always have a harder time doing it like an up angle when I'm doing art. I'm still practicing, but it's not an easy thing to do from different perspectives. Now I'm giving the abs more depth. Yep. Now I wanted to emphasize the muscles, obviously, because if I'm trying to portray muscle art, that's what you gotta do. The other stuff that doesn't really have muscle it's just gonna be darker. The legs I didn't give too much detail to because they're like the closest to the light source. Yep. Now to show more darkness or like show emphasis on the body, I gave I used my Sharpie to show black. One piece of advice that I got when I was younger, like deciding which college I wanted to go to, I think I went to Ringling College for this art show event where we would show the professors our art and they would give critiques on it to tell us what we could do better in case we either want to get to their school or just general doing better art. For me, my problem always was I focused so much on the body, which is fine, but I would always leave everything like there would never be a background for my art unless like I was asked to do so. So I would always like do a celebrity or I would do a random anime figure, whatever you want to call it. And just the background would always be white. I never cared for it. I only cared about the detail. Like for this, if I didn't add Sharpie, it would just be white. And that, I mean, it would be fine if I did that with this specifically because it's a black and white drawing. But add background even if it's just one color. That was the piece of advice he gave. Obviously, I didn't learn it till later, but your art pieces really do improve when you add a background, not just focusing on the subject. Like, for example, with Elden Ring, would it really be as beautiful as it is of a story if you didn't have so much detail with the background, the Erd trees, and that kind of stuff? Even with fighting games, anything, it would just blank slates get boring when there's no background. So, and the idea I had to add with the art piece was to darken it even more with the body and the shorts and stuff to give it that little bit, a little bit of texture with the lines with the background. Since I pure black Sharpie, I used one of my signature brush markers. Honestly, I don't remember the name. I don't know Japanese, but it's one of my favorite things to use for like pen and marker art like this. So it gives it a little bit more pizzazz with the muscles, along with the background. Like giving the darkest part. I'm giving the darkest parts the biggest shadow with this brush. This one was the easiest to use for my hand. It was already hurting by the end of this. Yep, now I'm giving look on it. I need to touch up on the terms you call for anatomy. Where does add stop? Yep, my thumbs up. That's my thumb. And that's how it came out. I was very happy with it for the short amount of time that it was. But if you ever want to do art like that, I hope this helps somehow. I'm very I'm very new at commentating and doing this YouTube stuff. So if you like the video, please leave a like and a subscribe because it really does. I really do appreciate it. It really has been like scary. So thank you for all your support, and I hope you enjoy the rest of my content.